Hello and welcome to Rhythm of Grace, where we live one moment, step, and day at a time, learning what surrender to the Lord is. My name is Michelle, and I'm glad you're here. While you're here, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be made aware of new content as it comes on my channel. Now, we're here today to do day 3 of the R1017 study. Now, what does R1017 stand for? It stands for Romans 10:17. And that says, so then faith comes by hearing, and hearing comes by the word of God. It's so important that we establish rhythms in our life that align with biblical priorities. Rhythm of Grace is all about establishing biblical rhythms in our lives. Sometimes we neglect the things that we need the most. And believers will say, I don't have time to read the word. And they never engage in the renewal of the mind that they are created to. We need to be people that read the word. But let's be real. Some of us don't have a lot of time and we just don't find a way to put it in our schedule. So instead of me coming on here and telling you, hey, read the word, I'm just going to lead the way. And we're going to be going through the whole New Testament, which is going to be a journey. And we started this a couple of days ago. This series goes 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I do not record on Saturday and Sunday. I have other things that I do. So today we're going to be jumping into Matthew chapter 2, 13 through 23. I will be highlighting some cross references in here. I love always, even though we're in the New Testament, I love looking at how the Old Testament connects to the New Testament. I'm in love with the Old Testament, and I always can see that connection, and I think that's a valuable observation. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and read this, and I am in my ESV, Systematic Theology Study Bible. I would encourage you to please read along in the version that works best for you. All right, so we're going to start in Matthew chapter 2, verse 13, and we're going to go to the end of the chapter, and that is 2 verse 23. So we are going to read 10 verses together. All right. Verse 13 has a little title over it, and it's called The Flight to Egypt. Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, Rise, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. And he rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt. And he remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Out of Egypt I have called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, became furious, and he sent and unalived all the male children in Bethlehem and all in that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time he had ascertained from the wise man. Then was fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and loud lamentation. Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted because they are no more. But when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Rise, take the child and his mother and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead. And he rose and took the child and his mother, and he went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning in Judea in the place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there, and being warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee. And he went and lived in the city called Nazareth. So what was spoken by the prophet might be fulfilled, that he would be a Nazarene. So that is the conclusion of Matthew chapter 2. Now, I have a couple observations here, and I want to say a few things. Let me unlock my tablet real quick. But history always repeats in biblical text and narrative. Now, here we see Herod trying to unalive Jesus because he was outsmarted by the wise men. But we look back in history in the book of Exodus, you see the Pharaoh there having the same actions towards the young baby boys back then. In fact, Pharaoh gives a command to the midwives to unalive the boys. The midwives don't listen. So Pharaoh commands all of the baby boys to be cast into the river. And that's where we see in the narrative that Moses is put in a basket afloat on the Nile, and he is saved. He's found by somebody in Pharaoh's court, and then he is taken into the house of Pharaoh. And we know the rest of the story, that Moses was the one that God used to bring his people out of slavery and do that first Exodus, which is a reflection of Christ, because Christ frees us out of slavery. It's a beautiful thing. I also want to look at one of the cross references here in the text. When we read, "Out of Egypt I have called my son," that is a cross reference to Hosea 11:1. And this says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and I called my son out of Egypt." And so this is one of the many times that Jesus was seen through his life, was fulfilling the prophecies about him. It's a beautiful thing. I love it so much. And diving into the cross references brings so much more depth and understanding into the narrative. So that is what I have for you today. Tune in next time as we start Matthew chapter 3. Until then, we live by the rhythm of grace, surrendering 1 minute, hour, and day at a time. Be blessed, and I will see you next time.